I guarantee you this is going to be the most beautiful Assassin's Creed you've ever seen.
Hey guys, Dantix here. It hasn't even been a day yet, and we're back with more Assassin's Creed Valhalla information. This one is huge though, guys. Recently, the creative director Ashraf Ismail was interviewed by the Washington Post, and it was about an hour long. Ubisoft? Well, when you hear what I have to say, you'll be hard. I've dissected all the information and I'm bringing you everything you need to know, including meticulously crafted worlds with tons of secrets, parkour and how it fits with the environment, stealth, meeting the assassins, the Raven's name and the meaning, character customization, unique gear sets, dual wielding two-handed weapons, evolving gear, Transmog, Oden vs Thor, rap battles, mount, single player and more. So we have a lot to get through. Buckle up. Before we start, if you want to win yourself a Nintendo Switch, the link to enter is below. Best of luck, and don't forget to drop this video a like and comment if you feel up to it. In terms of map size, Ashraf had this to say.
So the map size, one thing is I do get asked quite often to compare, and I've said it before, I don't find the comparison directly meaningful. Instead, what I would say is, we're in Norway and in England. Norway is breathtaking. It's a big world. There's a lot to discover and do in Norway. And then eventually the journey takes you to England. And in England, we have 4 kingdoms of England. During this time period, England was broken up into many little kingdoms. And so we have 4 kingdoms: Northumbria, East Anglia, Mercia, and Wessex. Within those, there's 3 major cities: London, Winchester, York, as it's known now, with a ton of towns and villages and hamlets and locations and surprises, all the way from Hadrian's Wall to Stonehenge. The world is impressive. People don't need to, let's say, worry about the size. It's England, it's big. There's 4 kingdoms in it, and a ton of content, and Norway, and some other surprises that we're not yet talking about. I want people to discover all the nuances and the discoveries that they can make. We've filled this world with a lot of mystery and surprise and unexpected elements, but this is a meticulously handcrafted large world that we've built. So again, for the people who want to spend hours and hours exploring every nook and cranny and finding every secret and hidden truth in this world, they have those options. If you want to focus on the narrative and drive through the narrative, you can play it that way too, and that's cool.
So the team isn't directly comparing sizes, which I suggest you all stop doing. Zip up and put them away. Instead, he's suggesting there's an absolute ton to do in Norway, England, and its 4 huge kingdoms, and in a secret area that he and the team isn't talking about right now. We can only speculate to what this is, but regardless, we'll have a lot to do, and I really don't doubt that at all, as both Black Flag and Origins was more than a mouthful, both of which he was the lead. What is most notable though is they have meticulously crafted the world with a ton of secrets, so if you're the exploring type, you'll most definitely have your hunger sated. However, like I mentioned in a previous video, you don't need to grind to get through the mainline missions, so if all you want to do is play the story, you can do that as well. Then parkour was brought up and how it would affect Valhalla.
When it comes to parkour, we needed to craft locations that make those elements shine. So there's a lot of effort that's gone into the level design, where we have developed explicit purpose into whatever location or area that we're trying to build, to say, yes, you can run on the ground and you can do whatever you need to, maybe from the ground, but you know what? If you decide to go up, if you decide to be a predator from the top, you're gonna see the value, see the advantage that you have. Have a crazy amount of ingredients in this world, things that make combat shine, things that make stealth shine, things that make navigation shine. Okay, we build these open worlds. You can approach these worlds from many angles, many directions, and we infuse that across every location we have in this world. I've mentioned a few times, this is a meticulous building that we've gone through to make sure that we can achieve it to the scale of the world that we have. So a lot of effort has gone into parkour. We have some really incredible locations that shine when you decide to be, let's say, the predator at the top, or even some navigation puzzles.
The big takeaway is that even though you're a Viking, which has the stereotype of run in, smash, kill, the team has made your individual character much more than that. You're a backy, stabby kind of Viking, if you wish, and the level building is designed around that. We know there'll be multiple skill trees, and I imagine there'll be one focused for combat and stealth, but it's hinted by Ashraf that there will be a navigation path as well. They've put significant value in navigating the world, and it seems like having the high ground Anakin will be an advantage. As he mentioned with the talk of world size, it's not a roughly thrown together massive area. Each stone is meticulously crafted to be turned, as the saying goes. What would Assassin's Creed be without stealth? Ashraf goes into more detail.
So about stealth, so one let's say misconception that people have is that Vikings are only brutal warriors, and for sure they are quite quite a warrior
conception too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what the mainstream public has. That's the image people have in their mind when they hear the word Vikings. But they were very pragmatic. If they could stealth their way to an objective and do whatever it is they needed to do quietly, they would. The stealth approach this is an Assassin's Creed game, so the stealth approach is critical. And I mentioned that we had done this big reflection, off on the franchise as a whole. And part of that reflection very early on was to say the social stealth element was one of the uniqueness, one of the very strong unique pillars of Assassin's Creed. And so we actively we were excited to bring it back and to bring its own unique new spin. And how do we make it even better? And how do we, give the people who love that style of play something meaningful, powerful, with different abilities and tools and capacities to play in that style. You have a hood and a cloak that you can manually break up and down as you wish, and that has an effect. On detection and that kind of stuff and more. And there's other tools and capacities. There's tools with your Raven, Sunan, that help you in stealth situations. Ground stealth, let's say, stalking zones, hiding, all the way to social stealth, using other people, using the environment and the social setting to sort of hide in the crowd. So a lot of effort has gone into stealth. But of course, again, this is an Assassin's Creed game. So very early in the experience of the game, Eivor will meet with assassins, or the hidden ones as they're called. And these assassins will also actively teach Eivor certain things. So some of the stealth elements will come as a teaching from Eivor's assassin friends.
So immediately he mentions the misconceptions about Vikings being the whole run in and smash kill that I mentioned previously. However, it's confirmed that stealth is a legitimate playstyle, and the team is focused around how to bring this to light. One of which is the return of the hood, which you can pull down to socially stealth, which is a blending into crowds sort of thing. So you'll be able to infiltrate those towns inside those kingdoms and get up to all kinds of shenanigans. Your Raven, Sunan, can also help you in stealth situations. Early on we'll be meeting the assassins and they will help you in your development into an assassin, meaning cool assassin abilities. I briefly mentioned the Raven. It's confirmed that it's named Sunin, and apparently that means insight in Old Norse, or at least is close to it. With a name like Insight, it becomes even more obvious what that role will be. Gear is a topic worth mentioning given that AC is an action RPG these days. In particular, Ashraf explains unique gear sets.
So in terms of gear, let's say every piece of gear is unique. Every piece of gear, you can upgrade it, you can change the look of the gear. So it's more of a collection of gear. If you want to focus on one set, if you have your favorite set of weapons, your favorite gear, and you want to just have that and focus on it, no problem. You can go through the whole game with that. If you want to collect all the really wonderful, unique weapons and gear we have in the game, you can do that. But each piece is unique.
So it's becoming more and more clear that there won't be a Borderlands or Diablo style loot table. Instead, I'm thinking gear will all be located in a particular place in the world and their statistics will be set in stone. So for example, if you want a particular longsword, you might need to kill the special enemy carrying it. It will, no matter the run, always be the same, unless it evolves when you upgrade it, but we'll talk about that soon. So you can upgrade it and modify it as you see fit and bring it with you to the end game. It would cut down on the replayability a little bit, having less randomized loot, but it will also cut down on the grind as well. I personally like randomized loot. It adds to the thrill of getting something nice. However, the way it's being positioned seems to suggest quite a bit of thought went into it, and quite a bit of sets exist in the world that will no doubt provide a bonus when you equip them together. Now let's see him talk a bit about combat. He even mentions dual wielding two-handed weapons.
So combat, you can't really claim to make the Viking experience without nailing combat. The Viking Age, Vikings were brutal warriors. So a lot of effort has gone into that sense of impact, the feeling of feeling every swing of the weapon. Customizing the way you play, one of the areas we wanted to push is the idea of dual wielding, that you can combine any two combination of weapons as you want. Some weapons have synergies with one another, so there's a lot of nitty-gritty crafting if you wish to go down that road. A lot of effort has gone into the dual wielding. If you want to dual wield two shields, you can do that. Why not? We have two-handed weapons. You can gain skills that allow you to wield in a single hand two-handed weapons, and then combine two of them if you want. So again, a lot of effort has gone into the dual wielding, and to allow that level of customization and gameplay synergy.
So it seems with skill investment, you'll be able to dual wield two-handed weapons. So imagine two giant axes in each hand as you charge towards your enemies. It would be a truly terrifying sight. I briefly mentioned skill trees, and I'd imagine this would be in the combat tree and need a significant investment into it. Diablo 3 had a passive skill that let the barbarian dual wield two-handed weapons with a drawback, so it'd be interesting to see how AC handles it here. Will you simply not have enough ability points to get everything, therefore an investment that far into combat will have you lacking in stealth or in other areas, or will it have a drawback as well? I mean, let's be real, dual wielding shields sounds like it will be the meta way to play. Character customization is a topic not often associated with AC, but let's see what he has to say.
There's quite a few options for customization. So yes, the gear pieces are broken up into 5 separate pieces, where let's say the hood is one piece among many. So there's various pieces. Again, as I've mentioned, every piece of gear is unique. When you upgrade gear, at certain moments, that gear also changes its visual. We allow you, if you really want to customize the look, we allow you to swap the look of a piece of gear, so you can retain its capacities.
Transmog,
but you can change the look.
Yes.
Transmog.
Yes.
So we have that in terms of the Eivor. So yes, there's hairstyles, beard styles, quite various amount. You can change the color. There's tattoos. There's war paint. So there's quite a bit of, let's say, character customization that can be done.
So there are 5 separate slots to put gear into to customize your character. As you get your unique gear, you'll probably start out looking pretty scraggly, but as you upgrade that piece, it'll change its visuals. Yes, your gear will evolve with levels, much like a Pokemon. I'm extremely excited for this kind of customization, as we all will be leveling up our gear just to see what it'll look like when maxed out. So it'll be like, my fire resist Saxon breastplate evolved into a Charizard. If you like that look but don't need the fire resist, you can transmog the look onto another item. Yet again, fantastic news. Besides the gear itself, you can customize Eivor's face and color as well, so there's quite a bit there for people who want to roleplay, which seems a lot more in depth than any other Assassin's Creed before it, and that really does shift into the RPG space. Next up is Viking rap battles. Yep, just stop, look and listen.
So what you're referring to is called flighting. So flighting was something that we found in our research. It was something that was done during this time period in the 9th century on the Norse side, so the Viking side, but also in the Saxon side in England for fun, for enjoyment, people, let's say two people, would start rhythmically insulting one another in front of the crowd to people's cheers. There's even a saga, a story about Odin and Thor doing a flighting together, where Odin, of course, Odin the Wise, obliterating Thor. So it was really based on that research that we found this kind of really intriguing little activity. And just to kind of give a little hint as to onto Eivor's personality, Eivor is someone who appreciates a good joke, but also appreciates a sense of poetry, and so it fit really well. Modern day rap battles is something that you can find in the game.
So it turns out there was a form of rap battles as a thing in the time, and they make an appearance in the story in some way, particularly with the main character. Not much else to say here, but the narrative team has taken some serious historical notes and have some real creative freedom here to make us laugh. I'm crossing my fingers for a greatest rap battles of history, Oden versus Thor style showdown. So it's confirmed there will be horse mounts and wolves, but they won't go into more detail about others.
There are other mounts, but again, we're not getting into that just yet. So Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a single player game. We do have an online component. There's a lot of value and a lot of features that come with being online. But to be clear, it is a single player game, and we thrive on that single player experience that we're trying to make.
The experience will be purely single player, though there will be online aspects, like we see in the create your own Viking and send it to your friends option. If they use that Viking in their raids, you'll get in-game rewards, which I think is pretty cool. So finally, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, in terms of the modern day side of things, will pick up since the events of Odyssey, and there will be surprises.
So in terms of modern day, we do continue the journey with Layla. So after the events of Odyssey, we pick up a bit of time has passed since then. Of course, I can't go into any of those details. There are some really cool surprises, I think, for fans and non-fans. Certain gameplay that is an aspect, if I can call it that, for the present day, that will, I think, surprise and hopefully thrill.
So that's all I have for you today. Let me know below what you think. With each new bit of information, I become more and more hyped. This game is honestly shaping up to be something incredible, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. If you like this video, please do the standard YouTube stuff to help me out, and I'll be back very soon with more AC Valhalla and more RPG content. See you, friends.